Welcome to Leaders of the West, a podcast for innovators and changemakers. I'm your host, Jessie Jarvis, the founder of the West, and I'm sitting down with agriculturalists, entrepreneurs, executives, and everyone in between with the goal of digging into the strategies, mindsets, and lessons that have been crucial to the success of ag and Western. Whether you're carrying on the next generation of your family's operation, starting something from scratch, or determined to climb up the leadership ladder, we're going to inspire you to continue to dream big, growing not just you, but the future of agriculture and Western as a whole. Let's go. Welcome. Today we have a short solo episode for you guys. You will see these here from time to time. And the purpose of this type of episode is to be able to connect with you guys on a deeper level. So I have always been somebody who really enjoys fostering relationships and creating genuine conversation. And in the past, I was somebody who really used Instagram stories for more raw conversations and to look into our lives, with us ranching, with me as a wife, as a mom of two small children, as a business owner. There's so many things within that you guys all have some kind of relatability to, right? But I hate that stories can only be seen for a short window of time. And the power of that method of sharing just isn't what it used to be. And frankly, not everyone is on Instagram or Facebook or social media in general. And this is a great way of having those conversations and connecting with all of you on a deeper level. I also have an email list, and every so often I would send out an email, but let's be honest, we're all busy people, and it's difficult to find the time to stop what we're doing, sit down for a couple of minutes, and read an email. So being able to listen to that same type of content while we're out on a tractor, driving our kids to school, sitting in an airport while we're waiting for a flight, it's a much better way to connect for all of us. We do still send emails though. So if you want to get on that list, I'll make sure that we include the link in the show notes below. But back to the purpose of these short solo episodes. One thing I've learned is that as different as we all think that we are from one another, we're actually very similar. More often than not, we're fighting the same battles, or we've experienced the same heartbreak. We all need the same motivation, or to hear the conversation that if they can do it, or if they've been there, then I can do it and I'm not alone. Along those same lines, the other thing that I have learned is that so often we compartmentalize or silo things in our lives, thinking that life experiences and struggles are different than business experiences and struggles, and that business experiences and struggles are different than the experiences and struggles that you face as a mom. And what you face as a mom is nothing like what you face as anything and everything, right? So on and so forth. But I can tell you that the lessons and experiences that I have learned or had in any one area of my life absolutely flow into everything else in some way, shape, or form. Let's be honest. Cows, kids, friends, family, horses, coworkers, none of them want to be told what to do, but when you make it their idea, it works out just fine, right? That's one example, be it a silly example, but of how experiences and ideas and mindsets are all so similar regardless of where you're at or what you're doing. There's so many areas that knowledge and mindset and our experiences really cross one another. They don't run parallel, that is for sure. And by no means do I have all of the answers or advice, and I am not about to pretend that I do, but I do learn a lot of lessons. And I can tell you that if I learn the lesson, I feel like it's my duty to share that in an effort to help, to empower, or to encourage all of you who may be walking that same road in your life. If I see something that has really motivated me, chances are somebody else needs that same motivation in their life. And so by sharing what has empowered me or encouraged me, I can hopefully empower and encourage all of you as well. Life is not easy, especially for so many of us who live in rural areas and want to connect with others, but the others that we want to connect with don't necessarily live locally. I know that's something that I have dealt with and still do, because with our ranch being here in Southern Idaho, I'm not moving anytime soon. So I am given what I am given, right? I have to make best with what that is. But that's the thing that we all love about the internet and about podcasts and about social media. It brings together the type of people and the type of ideas that we want to surround ourselves with. And I want to be part of that because I know that the only way that we can continue to grow in agriculture in Western is if we continue to grow as people. And I want to grow alongside you guys. So that is a bit more about what you can expect from these episodes. They will be short. I anticipate them anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. A quick little something that you can listen to while you're running into town for parts, while you're warming up your horse, while you're waiting to hop on a Zoom meeting, while you're sitting in the car because you've dropped your kid off in town and you don't want to drive back home because by the time you drive back home, you'll have to turn around and drive back and get them. You guys get the gist of where we're going with this. In today's shorty episode, though, I want to encourage you guys to keep going even when it gets hard. As bad as you might want to throw in the towel, don't do it. Well, that's easier said than done, right? Especially when those who are giving that advice look like they're coasting right along and you're digging in as hard as you can, thinking, is this the sign that I just need to give up? I know that I have totally gotten that advice when I have been sitting in front of what feels like a really big roadblock or a neon light up sign telling me that I need to quit while I'm ahead. And the person who told me that looks like their life could not be any easier at the moment. But number one, we're all fighting battles, whether others see them or not. So what looks like coasting to someone is definitely not smooth sailing, right? I think that's something that we all tend to forget about. And number two, they're right. I shouldn't quit, and neither should you. I can tell you guys a thousand different stories about things getting hard and how I wanted to quit. And I will be honest, this podcast has definitely been a challenge, right? Whether it has been rural internet challenges, platform challenges, recording issues, file issues, anything that could have possibly gone wrong has absolutely gone wrong. It's actually been a bit laughable. We easily could have told ourselves, well, this is a sign, we should just quit. It was a great idea, but this is getting hard and we have enough hard in our lives, so let's not add to it. But I will say, no matter how many challenges that we have faced getting this to launch over the last couple of months, never once did anybody on our team say, do you guys think we should quit? We have taken every issue, every hiccup, every roadblock in stride. We knew that the obstacles that we have faced were part of the journey and that we were going to get stronger because of them. And frankly, because we haven't quit before when things have gotten tough, we've also conditioned ourselves to turning what some would see as a roadblock or an I should quit moment into a we can do this. We've done tougher stuff before. I know that you guys have all done a lot of tough stuff. And I know that we're all often faced with those parts of life where we think, man, maybe we really should quit. Maybe this is a sign that I should do something else, right? But I can tell you that the same applies to anything in life. Can you guys imagine if the people on the Oregon Trail got to the very last mountain that they needed to cross in order to get into the Willamette Valley, which was their destination, and they said, man, this is difficult. We should probably just quit and stay here. I wouldn't have blamed them. That was 160 some years ago, and I still don't understand how they made that journey. But they went halfway across the country. They lost family members. They lost animals. They forded rivers. They survived all of that. They died of dysentery, right? Or at least we all did when we played the game. But can you imagine if they would have just quit right before they got to their dream? It's a good thing that they didn't. They kept going. They got to their destination. They made it to the Willamette Valley. But even though it was hard, they couldn't see their destination out in front of them. But they still knew that they needed to keep going. And sometimes that's why we want to quit, because we know that it's tough and we can't see the destination out in front of us. If you can't see where you're going and the road gets rough, it's normal to want to stop, right? And I'm sure you guys have heard that quote, you can't see the forest through the trees. What that means is that you can't see the whole picture when you're down in the details. And usually when it gets hard is because we're down in the details and we aren't getting ourselves above the clouds to see the whole picture. It doesn't matter if you are in a relationship struggle, if you are struggling with yourself, if you're struggling with your kids, your horse, your boss, your employees, your roping, whatever it is that you are wanting to quit right now, don't do it. Friends don't let friends quit, and I am not going to let you give up. Because every time that you fight through the hard, you grow. You get stronger. It's literally like lifting weights. And while not all of us may lift weights, Most of us understand this concept, right? So when you go to the gym, you start out and you're lifting little 10-pound dumbbells, and it feels easy at first. But then you get a few reps in and it starts to get hard. And you think to yourself, maybe I should quit and go back down to those 5-pound dumbbells. But you keep going and you keep pushing. And in a few weeks, you've mastered the 10-pound dumbbells and your muscles have grown, right? You've strengthened your body. And so then you move up to the 15-pound dumbbells. And those dumbbells feel good until you're a couple of reps in and you think, ooh, gosh, this is hard. I don't know that I can do another rep. I need to go find those 10-pound dumbbells. But you stick with it. And in a few weeks, guess what? You've mastered those 15-pound dumbbells and your muscles have grown and you're on to the next thing, right? You're on to the next weight. When it comes to sticking with the hard things and not quitting, you're strengthening and conditioning yourself. You might not be growing your biceps or your glutes. The muscle that you're growing is your mind and how you mentally approach the battle of sticking with what's tough. You're strengthening and conditioning your perseverance. And if I can tell you one thing about our industry, it is that we know how to persevere. And I can also tell you that a lot of people in the world, they have a very, very small perseverance muscle. So if you are somebody who can persevere, you are already ahead of 95% of the population. And what's cool about that is just like those dumbbells, every time you're faced with something hard and you don't quit, you gain a little bit of confidence. And little by little, it adds up. And what was, this is hard, I want to quit for you 2 years ago is something that when you're faced with that now, you see it and you think, oh, heck, this isn't hard. I've done this before. Good things worth having don't come easy. We have been given that advice numerous times. We've given that advice to others numerous times, but I want to give it to you today because when you get out on the other side, you are going to be so thankful that you didn't give up. Don't quit. Keep going. I know it's hard. I know it's tough. I know you think that there is a neon sign telling you to turn back around, but you need to keep going. You are almost there. Just because you can't see the destination doesn't mean that it's not going to be worth it, because I know it will. I can't thank you all enough for listening today. Do me a favor, take a screenshot of this, post it in your stories, tag us, tell us you were listening. And if you know of somebody who is in the middle of something hard and they need some encouragement to keep going, send it their way. We are really looking forward to growing this podcast and our impact on the agriculture and Western industries. And one of the most efficient ways of doing that is through word of mouth. So please, please do us a favor and share this with your friends. We will see you guys back here next week. Don't give up. If you loved this episode, do us a favor and share it with someone else who might find just as much value in it as you did. We're on a mission to continue to grow and strengthen the future of agriculture and Western industries, and you spreading the word helps us make more of a positive impact. It also makes a big difference when you take a minute to go rate and review the show. We can't thank you enough for listening, for sharing, and for loving Ag and Western as much as we do. We'll see you back here for our next episode.